It's a raccoon with a talk show slinging culture facts you might not know. From the biggest flops to the greatest hits, this is Trash Can Tidbits.
How's it going, everyone out there? I'm Beaton, and welcome back to some more tasty Trash Can Tidbits. Now, last week I asked the question, what is Babs Bunny's real name? The answer is Barbara Ann Bunny. Now, for the love of everything that is good in this world, do not call her that. She will absolutely blow her top and annihilate you. Interestingly enough, Babs Bunny was voiced by Tress MacNeille, who also played Dot on Animaniacs, and her similar mantra was, "Call me Dottie, and you die." In other words, do not mess with Tress MacNeille's characters. Now, with that address, let's get started with fact number 1. Did you know that the ending for Jurassic Park didn't originally involve the T-Rex? The original ending involved just the two velociraptors chasing the main characters, and then they fight each other. Both are killed in the fight, with the giant T-Rex skeleton crashing down on one of them. Steven Spielberg then realized that ending was boring, and that the audience would hate him if he didn't include the T-Rex at the end, and so the scene was shot and re-edited to include the giant dinosaur at the end, and even the giant "When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth" banner fluttering down to the floor added in for good measure. Fact 2. Did you know that for the great Wakko segments from Animaniacs, Jess Harnell is in fact not doing the belching sounds for Wakko? During the skits where Wakko is belching along to classical music, the belching is in fact done by Maurice LaMarche, also known as the Brain from the Pinky and the Brain segments. This was confirmed by LaMarche himself in an interview on the DVD special features. LaMarche has provided similar belching sounds throughout the show. Fact 3. Did you know that The Flintstones was originally going to be called The Flagstones? The pilot episode, which was never broadcast, did in fact have the main characters being called the Flagstones. However, a popular comic strip of the time, Hi and Lois, had the title couple being called the Flagstuns, and so the show was then renamed to The Flintstones. A reference to this can be heard in the live-action Flintstones movie, where Mr. Slate calls Fred Mr. Flagstone in one scene, and Fred almost corrects him, but doesn't. Fact 4. Did you know that Jetsons the movie was the first voice role for television icon Brad Garrett? Years before playing Ray's brother Robert Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond, Garrett's distinctive deep voice was first heard as Bertie Furbelow, the big blue furry patriarch of the Furbelow family who had a love for percussion-based scat singing. Garrett has since had an excellent career in both television and animation, appearing in such characters as Fatso in Casper, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, Gusteau in Ratatouille, among many others. Fact 5. Did you know that an actual nun served as a technical advisor on the making of Sister Act? Bette Midler, who was originally cast to play the main role before Whoopi Goldberg came on board, suggested the screenwriter Paul Rudnick go to an actual convent for research. And Rudnick went to stay at the Regina Laudis Abbey in Bethlehem, Connecticut, where the Mother Abbess who presides there happened to be a former actress and dancer named Mother Dolores Hart. When she was younger, she starred alongside actors such as Elvis Presley and George Hamilton, and was on her way to a promising career in movies, when she instead decided to become a nun. Mother Hart hasn't totally left the movie world behind though, as she is the only nun to be a voting member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and her life was chronicled in a 2011 documentary called God is the Bigger Elvis. Fact 6. Did you know that rock band The Ramones were mentioned in the Stephen King novel Pet Sematary, which in turn got them involved with the movie? King is a huge fan of the Ramones and has mentioned and referenced some of their songs in his book. When the movie was made, the band wrote and performed the title song for the end credits, and it became one of their biggest hits. The song Pet Sematary was later covered by such bands as Starcrawler for the 2019 remake and the Plain White T's for the Frankenweenie soundtrack. Fact 7. Did you know that several voice clips from popular 80s action movies were used in the Sega arcade game Golden Axe? Since the game takes place in a sword and sorcery universe, it would make perfect sense that some voice samples of enemies being killed would be taken directly from Conan the Barbarian. Another voice sample used for killing enemies was also taken directly from the Sylvester Stallone movie First Blood, which makes me wonder if Sega actually got the rights to use these sounds for incidental enemies. Fact 8. Did you know that the pilot for Inspector Gadget had the character with a mustache? After the pilot aired though, Deke Entertainment received a letter from MGM saying that Inspector Gadget looked too much like Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther. Both characters are in fact bumbling and clumsy detectives, and the similarities were very apparent. Deke complied with MGM's request to remove Gadget's mustache, and the pilot was then re-aired. Fact 9. Did you know that it's possible that Chris Pratt's character Owen from Jurassic World could in fact be the young kid from the first Jurassic Park who was intimidated by Dr. Alan Grant into respecting velociraptors? In the scene in question, the kid doesn't believe that the velociraptors could be scary, and then Dr. Grant proceeds to give an intimidating lecture on how they hunt and eat, and to show a little respect. In Jurassic World, the Owen character uses those exact methods of showing respect and not letting his guard down around his raptors. It is a popular fan theory, but the original actor who played the boy, Whit Hertford, shot down such theories. He was quoted as saying, "Guys like me don't grow up to look like Chris Pratt." We'll see about that. When Sam Neill returns as Dr. Grant in the next movie, maybe Owen will recognize him? Who knows? Fact 10. Did you know that Friends got a spin-off series? The character of Joey got his own self-titled sitcom in 2004, where he moves to Hollywood to pursue his dreams of becoming an actor. Though the show did get reasonably good viewership in its first season, the series was not a critical success. It did manage to barely get a second season, and moved its time slot to be alongside the popular American Idol, but even that didn't last long, as viewing numbers were consistently low and got lower as it went along. Joey was cancelled after 2 seasons, with 8 episodes unaired. I still have questions as to why, out of all of the characters from Friends, Joey was allowed to get his own show. Hopefully, the eventual Friends reunion will finally have all the characters talk about what's been going on with them after all these years. And here's this week's trivia question. I'm actually going to test you a little bit with this one. The movie musical Grease had a rather believable cast of actors playing high school students, but almost none of them were actually teenagers. For example, John Travolta was 23 and his love interest, Olivia Newton-John, was 28. My question to you is, of all the actors playing principal or supporting roles in Grease, which one was actually a teenager at the time of filming in 1977? And there we go for this week. I really hope you like this video. And please continue to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell for future video notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.